All right, it's me, Mr. O, and we are looking in 3 parts at some of the functionality here in RAD Studio Delphi to help with some grade 10 term 2 things. This will obviously be helpful if you are just getting started. There are going to be some steps, of course, that I skip, but yeah, this should help with term 2 kind of stuff in grade 10. Going to be doing this in 3 parts. The first part will be all about adding objects in and changing their properties. Then we'll also look at, in the second part, using events and custom procedures. So how can we attach an event or functionality rather on the onActivate event for the form, on mouse over, all those sorts of things. And then part 3, we will look at math functionality, importing the math library and using some of the functions there that might not show up in all your textbooks and notes and things, but will be useful along the way. Many of these things are very much reproducible and should be reproducible, so pay attention to them and try them. You can code along, but use them in a different context. So make your very own one, whether you are, capturing what you are doing on weekend, holiday, whatever it might be, calculating budgets, whatever. Use it for your own. I'm going to be doing a very kind of contrived one, maybe not useful in the real world, but just learning these functions as we go. Okay, so first thing let's add in, or let's rather name our form. You'll see my mouse pointer changes color when I'm clicking something, so you can see where I am clicking, and you'll see keystrokes show up as well. So firstly, let's rename this. I did that with a right click, and then let's go to quick edit. If I want to change the name of this form, we use the standard syntax FRM, and I'm just going to call mine main. Caption, that'll be what shows up on the window over there, and I'm just going to say this is the main form. Okay, just in case you were unsure and felt like being a little bit sarcastic. Okay. Whenever we want to add in a specific type of object, a component, whatever you want to call it, then we are going to be able to search for it here or find it over here. I'm going to add in a panel. So a panel is handy dandy for many things. You can see it's largely a design thing. Let me rename that as well. Just call it panel. Just going to call it panel 1, not great, and then I'm just going to keep the caption empty and open. So here we have panel 1, and what we can do with this, which is nice to organize things you're going to see in just a moment. So if I have an edit with a label, so of course we could do each of those separately. An edit is like an empty field that we can fill in. And I would be doing a label for it as well. We can, of course, add them in separately. But if we want to add them in together, let's see if we can get a label edit. There we go, T labeled edit. I'm going to drag that in, and I'm going to drop it here on this panel. Now look over here what's happened. Suddenly we have a drop down by panel 1 for our labeled edit over here. Let me rename. Yes, we good. Yeah, there we go. So we got panel 1, and then we got labeled edit over there. I'm going to change its name. I can't remember what it is for labeled edit, but I'm just going to call it label ed. Not the right one, but you'll know what I'm talking about. And I'm just going to call this name. Okay. So we have the 2 parts to it. You'll notice when you move this around, it looks like the label isn't coming with, but it does come with. Now we are able to edit properties for each of these. For example, for this panel 1 over here, in our object inspector, we can change between properties and events. And under properties, we have access in alphabetical order to all of the things that we might need to change, like caption, which will be its caption. Okay, and that's obviously for the panel, which we don't want to use in this case. We can also change the color. Notice how the colors are named as well. They start with CL, and then they have the color. We've got kind of our standard ones, and then ones that they recommend for all sorts of things. Okay, So from here, I could, for example, change this to red, which looks just awful. So let's just try teal. That's good fun. Okay. And then we can also edit our properties, making sure we're in design view. If we've got this label, this edit label selected, then we've got all of these. We've got max length, we've got the name of it, we've got to, do we only want to use numbers in there? Is this a red only? Are we using this as a password? A lot of different things that we can do in that. You'll see here that because we've got a label and an edit field in one, we have got things like edit label. And when we click on this, hey, where'd you go? There we go. Then we can see we've got access to a whole lot of these, which will refer to this part over here, the width of it, the font that we're using for it, the color of it, which it is inheriting from its parent. So this is a child and this will be its parent. So it's going to be bringing in those. Okay, so let's just quickly look at some of the formatting that we would do with this for our edit label. I'm looking for where we show our okay, so we've got a sub-label over there. We said a line, what we want the caption of it to be, and let's make it name over there. The color of it, I'm going to make it black. That's going to be its background color. We don't see it, but yeah, you know, in case we do nest anything in there, which we won't, but it's there anyway. Then we want to have our, here we go, label position. That's the one that I was looking for. Label position, which we can set to be above, below, left, or right. I'm going to choose left so that it's next to it. That's kind of the standard way, I would say, of doing that. Okay, so far we have added in a panel. We've nested an edit label in a button. Let's use and look at something called a bit button. And for that, we'll search it over here. Bit button, I'm just going to drag in here. So now you can see it's not part of this panel. I'll show you why that's important before the end. But let's first, wrong thing. We'll do that, but not just yet. Right clicking there, quick edit, and we'll say, I'm just going to call it button, and then we'll call it close button over here. The caption is going to be closed for now, which you'll see might change as we go. But when I've got this button close selected over there, we can come and look down at image, and then this helps to control what kind it is. So what does it do? And then you can see close, and it's also got that C underlined. And what this does as well is it attaches a close event, a close form event to that automatically. So I'll click that and then it closes. Okay. We can, of course, then change where that glyph, which is this image, shows up. If you're an older version of Delphi, of RAD, then it will look just a little bit different. Okay, so we've got the close button. Now, next what we want to have is a rich edit. Now, rich edit will help us to do just some more formatting. We won't go through everything that it does now, but you can think of it just as kind of a text field with more functionality and more styling options along the way, but we'll still be able to access text in here. Okay, so at the moment, our rich edit just has this text over here. Of course, we want to change its name, so quick edit. Let's just call it rich edit. And call it display name, because that is what it's going to do. We're going to use the text from here. And it's automatically updated the text to say that. Let's look down for text. Remember, in alphabetical order. So we should see it. We've got it selected over there. And got its name, but we don't have its text. Okay. Okay, lines, we're going to be using that in just a moment. But we don't want to change its name. We're happy with its name. Are you seeing it and I'm just not seeing it? Why do I feel so silly over here. Okay, so I think we'll just find it along the way and we'll change it kind of as it goes. Maybe it will be under font. No. Oh, goodness, grape juice. Okay. So let's say we want to add in lines to this text over here. And let's add in another button in our panel, which let's just call it show info. I'm going to come back here. That happened when I double clicked it, which we'll again use in a moment. So button, show info, and then the caption, let's just tell it to show name. Okay, so when we click that, it will show the name over here in this rich edit. Okay, so we want to access the information that is in here, and we want to show it in here when this is clicked. So we double click show name now to attach an event. So you'll see this is an event handler of sorts, a procedure. So this is what is going to run when we click on this button. Okay, not double click, just click on it. And if I scroll up in my code, this is going to be important when we get to the next part over here. But you'll see it shows up procedure, button, show info, click, and now so that's referencing it, and this is where we are actually editing it. So what I want to happen over here is for it to take what is in label ed name, label ed name. Okay, when I push dot, then we're able to see what's in here, and inside here we can see all of these where we've got edit label, which we can change from there. Label position we can change. All of these we have access to, but what we're looking for is text. Okay, so label ed.name.text, and that's the property that we want to get. But where do we want to place it? Well, we want to place it in the red display name. So let's just try this in one way. Display name dot text equals label ed text over there. These are both string types, so we shouldn't have too many problems in that. Oh, I haven't saved it just yet. Not the right way to do it, but I'm just clicking save and just going ahead because it's not going to be too important for now. But you will, of course, name your unit nicely and your project nicely along the way. So if I put my name in there and I click show name, then it shows it over there. Okay, all good, all fine, all well. The technically correct or possibly better way to do this, especially if we want to add in more. So say we wanted to have this say, hi to this person, and then give them some instructions and use their name again. So if I put in there hi plus their name, let's see what this does. Okay, it's going to squish it right together because I didn't put in a space between them. But hi, Chris. Okay, so we've got to make sure that we actually put in a space over there, and then that's all great and all fine and well. Now, if we want to add in a line break in there, then we use a built-in function called sLine break. And what that'll do is that effectively, well, it just puts whatever's next on a new line. So it creates a new line, goes to the next line. Okay, so then I'm just going to add in some more text. And let's see what that does with sLine break. I know this one is a long one. The other one, the other videos probably won't be as long as this one. Okay. So let me just put that in there once again. Chris, hi Chris. Thanks, man. That's decent of you. And then of course we can add in another line break, and we can add in some more text. What I would recommend, let me just add in this last bit of text. Maybe that's all but rude. Is I would split these across lines. So if you do that, and just line it up. This just makes it a lot easier for you to read, and you'll see it does pick up on us doing that and makes it a lot better along the way. Okay, it's a lot easier to read, a lot easier to see where you are doing this. Ugh, I did that one wrong. There you go. That's looking a lot better. And let's just check that this is working once again. So here we've got all of these. Just going to say that. Show name. Hi, Chris. You're pretty cool. Not. Okay. So that is one way of doing it, of editing the text. But what we can do and what's recommended, because it's going to make our code a little bit cleaner than that, is to add lines to our rich text. So what we'll do for this is red display name dot lines dot add, and then inside this function, then we put this in. So we can put hi. Okay, and then just that. And what we can even do in here, let's maybe just attach it. Yeah, hi plus label, what is it called? Label ed name dot text. Okay, so what that is going to do then is going to add another line onto it over here. So let's just see what that looks like. So what's nice about that is that you can see it's there at the bottom. That's that add line that we did. It doesn't overwrite other text that we have in there. So for example, if we just got rid of all of this and we tried to, when we ran this, then we would see what happens over here. Chris, show name, it adds the text on. So it appends it, it adds on a line to it. So we can add in another line, red display name dot lines dot add. So now we don't need to be doing our own text breaks. That's happening for us automatically. You are that's exactly what that says, and that's what I wanted to say. Okay, and then what we would do as well if we wanted to remove all of that, actually, is we would say dot texts and assign it the value of an empty string, and that would clear it all out. Let's have a look what this does. So now when we show that text, then boop. Okay, there we go. Hi, Chris, you are Rosh. I agree. Okay, so what we had a look at in this one was adding in an object. We added in a panel and saw that we are able to nest things inside that panel. And when we change something for this panel, then it changes it for all the elements inside. So what I mean by that is I've got panel 1 selected over here, and we've got show info, and we've got labeled ed over there, and we've got visible. So if I tick not visible on this panel, and I save that, and then I run it, you will notice that we don't see any of those. So can you see why it's cool to place it inside a panel? If you have a lot of elements and a lot of objects, you can place them inside something, and then it'll help out with that. We looked at bit buttons. We looked at adding in a rich display over here using values from edit text over here, and then we added in multiple lines. We used S line break, and we used add line. Okay, so that's part 1. In part 2, we're going to see how we can get these procedures to run on specific functions. I hope that was helpful. Of course, give me a shout if you don't know what is cooking.